I like old cameras. You know, it's kind of the theme of this channel. I mean, even my favorite action camera is an old GoPro Hero 4, but I don't film with it as often as I'd like because it doesn't have image stabilization. And that's why I wanted to try this, the Hohem iSteady Pro 3. You know, I've never actually had a gimbal before. I've watched a million gimbal videos, but it always seems like more hassle than what it's worth. You know, you watch these setup videos and people are like, okay, you just unlock this section and then you balance it and then you unlock the next section. And at a certain point, my eyes glaze over and I completely lose interest in stable footage. But that leads me to the first point of what I really love about this gimbal is there's not really any effort required. You know, you just put the camera in the holder, turn it on, and you're ready to start filming. And that's the other thing too. Everything is so simple to control. You know, you've got this clean, elegant design here on the back where everything is just kind of obvious. You've got a round thumb pad for moving up, down, and left and right. You've got another switch for changing tilt. You've got a button for controlling which mode you're in. And you've got another button for starting and stopping recording and powering the device, and that's it. There's no real instructions needed. You know, right out of the box, everything is just easy to use. And something else I really like about this gimbal is its ability to control your camera wirelessly. You know, that power button on the back also serves as a record button for your camera, and it's one of those things where it just works. You know, I've tested this with two different GoPro Hero 4s, a Hero 7 Black and a GoPro Hero 9, and every single one of them paired to this gimbal just instantaneously. I had no problem whatsoever. When you just put your GoPro into pairing mode, it finds the gimbal right away, and immediately you're able to just hit that button to start and stop recording. It's one of those things where I kind of thought it was just like kind of a gimmick, like, oh, okay, I'll never use that. But once I started using that feature, I couldn't not use it anymore. I kind of got so used to just having that convenience of hitting that record button and not having to mess with the GoPro, especially when I'm filming videos like these where I'm out walking about, you know, and the camera's out here at arm's length, you know, not having to mess with the GoPro up there, instead just being able to click the record button like right there by your hand. It's funny, but you really do just kind of get used to that kind of convenience, that kind of simplicity. It's a big feature on this camera, and I really like it. Now, normally all of the walking segments on this channel are usually filmed on a GoPro Hero 9. Like last week's video, the Sony A200 photo walk, 90% of that video was shot on a GoPro Hero 9. But as some of you astute viewers probably noticed, there are certain parts in the video where the audio gets messed up, and there's other clips that you never even saw where the audio was messed up because I just couldn't even use them. But that happens all the time with the Media Mod and the Hero 9. I don't usually have any audio problems with the Hero 4 though, but up to this point, I haven't been able to use it because it has no image stabilization. But now with this gimbal, I'm actually able to film with the Hero 4, and like I've said all along, I actually like the look of the Hero 4 a lot better than the Hero 9. But anyway, here's the point that I'm making. Look at how good the gimbal actually handles this walking footage. Like, all of this ground here in the field is completely uneven, and I am not trying to walk softly or smoothly. There's no ninja walk going on here. I mean, I'm just stomping around. But the footage is actually clean. See, to give you an idea of taking the camera out of the gimbal, I'm doing the exact same walk in the exact same place, but as you might notice, footage is a lot shakier now. I would argue that this footage isn't really usable at all. You know, when you look at it this way, you really get a sense of just what the gimbal's doing. It does kind of beg the question though, who actually needs a gimbal for an action camera in this day and age? Realistically, if you're using anything from Hero 7 to any of the current GoPros, then the image stabilization is so good you don't really need a gimbal with those cameras. But if you're like me and you've got a bunch of old GoPros that are just kind of sitting on a shelf collecting dust, you can get a lot more out of those cameras if you have a gimbal. You know, you can really see it in that walking footage. It just kind of surprised me, like how bad that footage looks without a gimbal versus it's like a brand new camera. You know, it looks so much better with that gimbal. The other people who might want to consider a gimbal for an action camera is anyone with the first generation DJI Osmo Action. Osmo Action has brilliant rock-steady image stabilization, except for in slow motion. You know, whenever you're filming 120 frames per second or 240 frames per second with that camera, there's no stabilization whatsoever. That's another camera that could really benefit from a gimbal like this. And lastly, I'd say anyone who's purchased a sort of no-name action camera off of Amazon, you could probably benefit from a gimbal like this. I'm guessing the image stabilization on those cameras isn't quite on par with, say, modern action cameras. I don't know, it's been a fun experiment for me. I'm definitely going to start using my Hero 3, both Hero 4s, and Hero 5 that much more now that I have this gimbal. Because I've said it a million times, I really do like the image coming from those cameras. They're great cameras. Their only flaw is that they don't have image stabilization. Anyway, I think that's all I've got for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.